Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for adding to our live session, brother. I'm sorry to hear about the issues that are going on in the home with your parents and your sibling. You recently moved from Dubai about 6 months ago, and you moved in with your parents. However, you've noticed that your mom and your brother, as well as probably your dad, are not real hospitable to your wife and your child. You state that you live in the same room for days and nobody ever checks up on you, and your mom has issues with your wife, stating that she doesn't watch your son and he makes the house a mess. And you state that he doesn't really make it that messy. You state that your mom exaggerates and creates an issue. One small tip on that, right? Like, I know children can get into things and maybe mess things up. And maybe your mom is used to having her house like in perfect condition, right? So having a child in the house might be an adjustment for your mom. And while that doesn't give her any reason to be rude to your wife or be mean to her, perhaps it's just coming out as irritability because she is used to having a house that's very tidy with everything in place. And, with a toddler in the house, a child in the house, that's not always possible. And perhaps your wife does the best she can to pick up after your child, but it's possible that it's not up to your mom's standards, right? So it's not your wife's fault, and it's not really your mom's fault, except that she doesn't have to be, so hard on your wife, right? Because you guys have just been there for 6 months, and of course there's an adjustment period. For that issue, brother, I would kindly, consider sitting down and talking with your mom about it and just asking, what it is that she would like to see done differently, right? Because from what I gather, your wife has been picking up after your child. And now I understand you're not comfortable talking with your parents, but as a 34-year-old adult, at this point, brother, you really need to maybe talk to them, work out your shyness or work out your communication skills so that you can talk with them and not feel uncomfortable, right? Because, you're a grown man and, you should be able to speak with your parents on an adult level with them, right? They're still your parents. Of course, you love and respect them, but you do have the right to speak with them as well. So with that said, there's other problems going on in the home, such as your older brother is backbiting your wife, and your son is suffering because of all this. You state that he doesn't get any love from your parents, and if they do show him love, they keep reminding you and your wife that they've done a favor for him or for you. It just sounds like a very kind of difficult situation. Because, these are your parents. You would expect that they would welcome you and your wife and your child with open arms and full love. But that really doesn't seem to be the case. I'm not sure if this was talked about before you and your family moved in. If not, again, communication is the best way to go, right? Not being disrespectful or accusatory, but just sitting down and talking with your parents and just stating that you love them very much. You appreciate them letting you and your wife and child stay there, and you just want to resolve the situation and make them happy as well as make your wife and child and yourself happy. If you could talk to them, maybe write down some points, that have hurt you or your wife, and ask your parents, especially your mom, how that you can all work together to make it better. That would be great, inshallah. However, if you can't and you need to move out, that's fine too. Really and honestly, you're married now, you have a wife, you have a child, and you really should be in your own home at this point, right? It'll give you more space. It'll give you more peace. Your wife will be able to make a home, for her family, which is you and your son. And things, should be much better if you have your own home. With that said, please first try to work it out with your parents, make, amends, see what their needs are, see what your wife's and your needs are for a communal living situation like this, if it can't be worked out, there's nothing wrong with moving out and letting them know. We wish you the best.